7mm .08 Remington is a very capable and flexible round. It's rather light recoiling, which makes it good for younger shooters. It's also a very good long-distance cartridge, which is why I've selected it for my 1,000-yard for a $500 rifle build. Now, 7mm .08 brass takes a little bit of work to create. It starts life as .308 Winchester brass, and with a few steps, we can turn that into this. One thing to point out before we get started, I will be using .308 Winchester brass and not 7.62 by 51mm NATO brass. There is a difference in the two. Externally, the dimensions are the same. They'll both feed into the same rifles, and they'll probably shoot okay in most rifles. But there is a difference in the brass. The 7.62 by 51 NATO brass is thicker, so you get into high pressure situations pretty quickly, and you don't get as good a performance out of it. To see more on this, check out my video that I did a little while back to see what the differences in these two brass types are. The first step to necking down brass is annealing it, and that means making the brass soft. For that, we need some not-so-special tools. We need something that spins, like this Lazy Susan. We need a propane torch. And this bowl is going to hold about a ½ inch of water. And what this will do is prevent the base from annealing as well. You don't want the head of your brass down here at the bottom. You don't want that to anneal. You want to keep that just the way it is. This is the part that works. This is the part that lengthens, shortens, and basically flexes out and then flexes back in during firing. This is the part that we want to soften. So just place your brass right there on this mark that I have to let me know where the exact center of this is. And now it's time to get it heated up. What I'm doing here is keeping the jet right kind of on the center of the neck. That way it's going to heat up the shoulder a little bit too. And what I'm watching for is I'm looking inside the neck, and I can see it starting to glow just a little bit. I'm waiting for it to glow a little bit orange. If it turns red, you've gone too far. If it's still orange, you're in pretty good shape. Then all you do is just knock it over down into the water. That one didn't quite cover it. There we go. And that should be properly annealed. If you want to check your brass to see if maybe you might have gone too far, that maybe the metal is too soft, or maybe that you didn't do enough, you can just grab a pair of pliers, grab the neck on one of these, and see how squishy it is. If it's easy to crush, you went too far. I turned down my lights a little bit, so hopefully the camera will be able to pick up some of that orange glow. You want it to glow orange just for a few seconds before you kick it over. And again, don't let it go cherry red. If you do that, you've gone too far. Those of you that are accustomed to working with steel probably think I'm nuts right now. This is the process that you use to make metal harder, not softer. But in the case of brass, it's kind of opposite. Heating it up makes it softer, and dunking into the water just really stops the process of heating. It doesn't really do anything to the metal itself, as far as I know. It's work on brass that makes it hard and brittle. So actually shooting it, or resizing it, things like that, that's what makes brass hard. And that's what leads to cracks in the neck and things like that. One of the benefits of annealing is that you can make your brass pretty much last forever. I have some 243 brass that I've been shooting since, I think, 2004. And I don't know, I may have had as many as 10 reloads through there by now. and I've never had a split neck, never had a problem. Every so often I anneal the brass, use it again, and I've had no problems. Some competitive shooters go so far as to anneal their brass between each shot. So after doing a competition, they'll go home, anneal all their brass again, reload it all, and in this way they can get some very consistent brass for the competitions and simultaneously, like I say, make it last forever. There are other methods of annealing brass, some which include the oven, and I haven't tried any of the others. This is the one that I've done, so I keep doing it. But look online, there's all kinds of different ways that you can do this. Before moving on to the next step, I'm going to let these dry. I don't want any moisture getting into the lubricant that I'll be using to resize these, and I definitely don't want any water inside the dies themselves. Now, one thing that you've probably seen on your brass before, that you picked up at the range or maybe you bought, this little dividing line right here, where the top of the brass is kind of more silvery and the bottom is the usual yellowy brass. And that is a phenomenon that occurs during the annealing process. And this is a good indication that my annealing has gone well and that it's gone past the shoulder. You definitely want everything through here annealed. This is all stuff that moves. The shoulder comes forward during firing, the neck expands, and most of this, well, the whole body is going to expand, but really this area mostly up here is going to expand out and fill the chamber. So that's the stuff that gets worked the hardest, and it needs to be the softest. In the next video, I will show you the method I use for neck sizing. It's not as scary or expensive as it sounds, though there are a couple of hazards to avoid. Make sure you subscribe to get instant updates as the new videos roll out. Like the Social Regressive on Facebook to see bonus material. And click this button to view the entire playlist, which will cover every stage of this project, from component selection to the final 600-yard and 1,000-yard competitions.